Blizzard has just revealed the tier sets for both Havoc and Vengeance Demon Hunter, and today we're going to talk about them. Before we get to the video, I just want to say a lot of my viewers aren't subscribed. We just hit 1,000 subscribers and going higher, so I want to thank everyone for the support. But if you're watching, you see my videos all the time, and you're not subscribed, consider subscribing, it really helps me out. Or if you want to see more Havoc, Demon Hunter, and Vengeance Demon Hunter content in the future, or just more WoW content, hit the subscribe button, it really helps me out. Now enjoy the video. So here I have in the blue post, the WoW head coverage of the blue post that Blizzard made, revealing our tier sets. So they revealed tier sets for every single spec, 38 of them. Now, I will say before I get into it, do not have high expectations for these. The tier sets are a little boring, but it's to be expected because of what they're doing as well. They're releasing, talent trees and complete class reworks in most cases. So having these complex tier sets as well, like they had in 9.2, really would have been a monumental task for balance, as well as just kind of affecting how you play the class. So we'll scroll down, we'll get into a few things, and then we'll talk about the tier set itself. So you can see here, there are a few things I want to talk about. They had a few goals. First and foremost, they're not as complex. Like I said, the new talent trees resulted in a lot of changes to classes. And they want people to be able to play those classes without class sets that significantly change your rotation. So for the first season, they want you to kind of experience the classes as they've made them, with your tier sets kind of just being a buff to stuff early up in the tree, or just kind of a buff that everything can enjoy, instead of really being big rotational or resource defining or big gameplay changing tier sets. They're not saying those won't ever come back. Seeing here, it's not to say we won't make those in the future. But for now, these are generally toned down compared to what we've seen in 9.2 and other tier sets in the past. Another big goal is that they wanted them to have minimal impact on talent choices. Like I said, a lot of them are on base stuff, or a lot of them are on things that come about from talents high up in the tree, or things like that. The other thing that are coming in are the acquisition of tier sets. So the creation catalyst is coming back. They want people to be able to have easy access to it and to catch up without any really big major hurdles. So the Creation Catalyst was a great way of doing that. They were all pretty happy about it when they brought it in. They think the Creation Catalyst met the goals they set forward to it. It'll be called the Inspiration Catalyst from now on. We don't know where it is. Personally, I think it's going to be in Tierhold near Valdrakken. And we know it's going to open in the 6th week after the Mythic Raid becomes available. So it's sooner than last time in 9.2, which was 8 weeks. However, I think 6th week is still too far. I think 4 weeks or 3 weeks is probably going to be better. But we'll see if they ever decide to change that. So these set bonuses are coming in next week in the beta build. You'll be able to get them in Orgrimmar from Setzer Torrent to test them out. I'll have tons of stuff covering that, and with that, let's get into it. So here we are with the tier sets, both Havoc and Vengeance. We'll start with Havoc first, and then we'll talk about kind of what it implies. We'll talk about where it goes, some problems with it, and then we'll talk about Vengeance. So Havoc, the 2-set bonus, Chaos Strike and Blade Dance chance to critically strike is increased by 5%, and the critical strike damage bonus is increased by 10%. Just a nice flat bonus. You get 5% extra crit chance on Chaos Strike and Blade Dance, which is important. This, of course, affects stuff like First Blood for Death Sweep, which is a big deal if that crits. And their damage increased by 10% is just a nice bonus on top of them critting. And then the 4-set bonus, Chaos Strike and Blade Dance have a 20% chance to increase the damage you deal by 8% for 6 seconds. Your critical strikes increase this chance. So basically, every time you use Chaos Strike and Blade Dance, 20% chance to increase the damage you deal to anything. So it includes your AoE effects like Immolation Aura, like the Hunt, stuff like that for 6 seconds. Your critical strikes increase this chance. We don't really know what the second part means. We can assume that for each critical strike you do, you have a higher chance for the next Chaos Strike and Blade Dance to trigger. But we don't know. We don't know what this works with per se. We don't know how it works specifically. We'll have to find out later next week when it comes out. But just first glance at these things, they're pretty strong but boring. Again, Havoc had a massive tree redesign, so different from how it was before. I wasn't expecting a big change. But we want to stack crit normally anyways. So these tier sets themselves kind of play really well into that. Right? Since we want to have that crit, it works well with the 2-set bonus and the 4-set bonus, we imagine. The 4-set bonus, we assume is going to have around 50% to 60% uptime. We use Chaos Strike and Blade Dance fairly often, but it does depend on how the critical strikes impact this chance. So we go on beta right now. Some talents that do change it, that we already were in before, that we're going to be wanting to push into, are these two down here, Chaos Theory and Know Your Enemy. Chaos Theory gives you a higher chance to crit with your Chaos Strike whenever you use Blade Dance, which plays into the 2-set, which gives you more crit damage, as well as the 4-set, we imagine, because you're getting more crits. Looks can kill if it works with how many crits you have, increasing the chance. It'd be very good because every single hit for I-Beam will cause a critical strike. which will raise the value of this and perhaps give you a higher chance for your thing to proc. Again, we are not sure how it works. If it works like that, looks like kill could be very good. And finally, Know Your Enemy, of course, is just very, very good with critical strike damage. It works really well with the 2-piece. We imagine because the 5%, we'll just have a higher chance to crit, meaning a higher chance to crit means we get more damage on it. Finally, Initiative works pretty well with it too, which is giving us an extra 15% critical strike chance, giving us more crit on our abilities, which is something we want. So, beforehand, crit was looking like a pretty decent stat for us, and now it's going to be a very, very good stat. However, there are some issues with it. Of course, it's boring. Whatever, we expect them to be boring. I kind of wish it to be a little more exciting, but is what it is. Hopefully next year we'll see some more interesting stuff once they've kind of gotten the whole tier sets down. You do want to kind of be going down this route here to get Looks Can Kill, to get Initiative, to get Chaos Theory, Know Your Enemy. If it works how we assume, where Critical Strike chances, Critical Strike increases the chance of your next Blade Dance giving it to you, which does mean the momentum gains value for people who don't like momentum. You very much can play Initiative and not play momentum, though. I don't think that would be that big of a deal. But that is something to mention for people who don't enjoy playing with momentum and those kind of talents. The other big issue, actually, is the itemization of the tier pieces themselves. So this is actually going to be a big deal. I'll throw up a list of what the items themselves have. So the tier bonuses are on Helm, Shoulder, Chest, Gloves, and Pants like they have been in 9.2. The Helm is Haste Mastery, the Shoulder is Verse Crit, the Chest is Verse Haste, the Gloves are Verse Haste, and the Pants are Mastery Crit. There's also Catalyst Gear, with its Verse Mastery for wrists, Crit Verse for boots, Crit Verse for belt, and Haste Verse for cloak. Those last 4 don't matter. They will not give you the set bonus if you trigger them. It's weird that we have such a strong crit focus thing with such little crit actually on the pieces themselves. Only 2 of the pieces have crit, and of those, only one of them is actually Mastery Crit, which is what people are thinking is going to be our best sets right now, best stats. So realistically, it'll be much better if we can get a better itemization on these pieces, and it'll be very good. Realistically, though, I think this tier set is pretty strong and compared to a lot of other tier sets. You're going to aim for around a 10% increase from a tier set. We're going to get around that, which is pretty good. The fact that it scales into AoE with some of our AoE abilities, like stuff like Legion Degree, stuff like the Hunt, stuff like the Immolation Aura, which can feed into Rage Fire, is a pretty big deal, pretty fun. Will give us more of an AoE ability, more ability to do damage in AoE, which is pretty strong. Overall, pretty decent with this. I think itemization on the tier pieces is going to be the biggest issue. But realistically, I think it will be pretty good. Now we can look at Vengeance. So Vengeance, the 2-set bonus, Shear and Fracture deal 20% more damage, generate 20% more Fury, and have a 15% chance to generate an additional Soul Fragment. And then the 4-set, Spirit Bomb and Soul Cleave have a 12% chance to deal 50% more damage, and cause targets they hit to deal 15% less damage to you for 8 seconds. So realistically, what this comes out to be is a 2-piece is a 60 to 70 Fury per minute gain over what you have normally. It works out to be roughly 2.5 souls per minute more, and of course a 20% increase to Fracture. And the 4-piece is on average 6% Spirit Bomb and Soul Cleave damage on average, because it's only a 12% chance. And then it's a 15% DR with roughly a 20 to 30% uptime. That's not too bad. You are going to be using a lot of Spirit Bombs and Soul Cleaves. You're going to be getting more souls and more Fury, which is really good. Obviously, more Fury and more souls is how this spec itself works. However, the soul proc is too low to plan around. Like, you don't want to use your defensives, imagining that you're going to have those more souls. It's just going to be a nice extra bonus when it happens. The 4-piece is also decent defensively, but again, it's too low to plan around. When it happens, it'll be good, but it's not something you can rely on to save your life because it's only a 12% proc. These bonuses themselves seem in line with what other tanks are getting, so realistically, you're pretty happy with them, and it fits the design intention of being like an upgrade, but not super, super strong over what, tier sets we've had in the past. I don't play a lot of Vengeance right now. I'm going to look into it and give some more Vengeance content, but I think their tier set is overall pretty good. Compared to some other classes, I think both Demon Hunters work out pretty well. I think we have pretty decent tier sets. Of course, they're boring, but most classes have them to be pretty boring. I think the big thing is just, again, that itemization. Really not having the crit makes it so that we don't have a lot of options for gearing. If we have 4 or 5 of our tier pieces, so 4 gear slots, I guess, without crit, or 2 pieces without crit on very important pieces, right? Stuff like chest, stuff like helm, stuff like shoulders, gives you a lot of stats. Then it's going to be a very downside because this tier set itself wants us to stack that critical strike chance. So basically, if they change that, I'll be pretty happy. It'll be interesting to note how the 4-piece works. if it's like the amount of critical strikes you do increases the chance, or if it just raises with your critical strike chance itself, or if it's an RPPM. We don't know. That'll be stuff that covers over in the next build whenever it comes up. So look forward to me testing those out and all that stuff. So I want to appreciate everybody for watching. Thank you for watching the video, all the support, all the subs and everything. I'll have more updates on these when I come, more testing next week when everything's out. So stick around for that. Leave a like, leave a comment how you think of the tier set, and see you guys next time.